feel like they asked me like the address of camp and I was like,
Did they?
I don't know. And then they were fine with me not knowing. I was like, I don't know, I've not looked at it.
It's not awkward, but it's a very formal
Yeah.
situation. Like, it's not like it's a dead, hey,
Yeah.
I've arrived for my visa. Like, it's
Going to this bowling alley in stilettos and a sparkly jumpsuit. And when I tell you, people were there on like family days out, that everyone turned around and looked at me. It wasn't.
Are you suitcase or backpack? Hi, I'm Libby.
And I'm Ffion.
Welcome back to the Camp Leaders podcast, where we talk all things summer camp, travel and America. Thank you for joining us for episode 3. Today we're going to be focusing on preparing to camp, so the journey essentially from being placed at a camp to arriving at camp on your first day. So Ffion, how long is it until you go back to camp this summer?
I think I've just got over 2 months, I'm pretty sure. So like mid-June time. But yeah, how long? I think we're going roughly the same time, aren't we?
Yeah,
but how long
like,
have you got until you go?
I'm probably about the same.
Yeah.
Like 6 weeks is less than 2 months actually, fun fact. Like 9 weeks, I think.
It'll fly by
Not
though.
6 weeks.
I feel
6
like,
weeks.
yeah.
I know it will. Have you started packing or anything yet?
No.
Haven't you?
I'm someone that packs like 2 days before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see that. I can see that.
I just throw everything into packing cubes and throw it straight into my
Do you
case.
start
and
like
I'm done.
shopping in advance, like packing or?
I'll probably panic again like a few weeks before I go and just
I've started
buy everything.
while I'm away.
Oh
While I'm
my
away.
God.
Went to the Trafford Centre on Friday. Got some toiletries and bits and bobs, and also started buying socks. I think it can become costly if you buy them all in one go.
It can, and I feel like 2 months isn't even that far in advance to do that stuff. I'm just really unorganised. So
Yeah, no.
I feel like that's a normal time to stop buying
Fair.
stuff.
No, I can see you like
Yeah.
Primark Dash 2 days before.
Yeah, or I'll just like take what I've got in my room and just won't buy anything else, and then I'll just
Fair.
have to make do. while I'm
I think
there.
I like pretend to be organised with it though.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like, yeah, I've got all my socks, and the day before I'm like, oh, no t-shirts. Brill.
I know it's hard to be like enough organised, but then not too organised. I know like some of the people I go to camp with are packed like 2 months before. Camp, like fully packed.
I really respect that though. Like I think my first year I was more so like that. Like do you feel like you were more prepared your first year than what you are now? Do you feel like you've chilled out a bit or?
Slightly, but I really don't think I like. Was that
No, I
my
can really
first
see
show
that for
either.
you, just kind of like turning up, winging it.
And I turned up at the airport with just like a rucksack. Like, there we go.
So with like preparing, say like so now, it's your first year, you've just been placed at camp. With the time when you got placed, did you get started on your visa like soon after, or did you have to have a bit like of a wait?
I had a bit of a wait, so I think when I got placed it was around Christmas time-ish, like before the new year. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get my visa until March.
Yeah.
So it was a good few months that I was still
Waiting for it.
yeah, I can't remember why, to be honest, because it was like a few years ago. So
Probably just
I feel like I probably just hadn't handed something in. Yeah, I haven't done what I needed to do. Yeah, when did you? Because I know you got placed really early. But
Yeah.
did you get your visa early?
Yeah, I think I was like one of the first days in the embassy with mine, really.
I feel like I would have preferred that though, because it would have made me kind of more at ease.
Yeah, but I was just looking forward to like getting stuff done really. So I think I started off my visa early, but I think I really struggled with the application. I remember.
The visa application.
Yeah, I remember my first time. Well, I wouldn't even say I struggled. I think I just second guessed everything. Like, going through it, and it's like, what's your name?
I don't know. Check the guide.
Is this right? Is this right?
Yeah. I feel like it is a long form, and the website doesn't help. Like the fact the website looks so old as well. I feel like you're constantly checking, see if you've done something.
Do you think
wrong.
I know Ryan always says that from when he first went to camp, like the website's
I don't think it's ever changed.
been the same.
Yeah. I feel like it's been like that for like 20 years is what it looks like though.
Fair. It is. It's weird because it's like such simple questions, I think. But because you're applying for a visa, I think it's like
it's the first time like I'd ever had to fill something like that out in my life.
Where it's like serious. So like it's
like
you
a
know
serious
like
application.
I have to I have to get this
With
right.
like my passport and things like that before then, my mum had always done it for me because I think a child when I got my last passport. I must probably 16 or something.
You must have been, yeah.
So my mum filled all that out. So then I'd never had any experience filling out a serious form.
Serious, yeah.
So it is like a little bit stressful when you're doing it, but then the more you do it. So like now that I'm going back for my 4th year, I'm kind of slightly more at ease, but I still like triple check everything.
No, I'm the same. Like when I had my visa appointment a couple of weeks ago, and I went, and even on the way, I was like so nervous.
Yeah.
And like the people I were going with was like, this is like a third time.
It gets easier, but it's still like a little bit
It's always going to be nerve-wracking, I think, because it's like, it's not awkward, but you know, it's a very formal situation. Like it's not like it's a dead, hey, I've arrived for my visa. Like it's obviously, you know, quite like formal. But have you like getting to the embassy and stuff, well, your actual appointment, have you always found it to be fine? Like have you ever had any like hiccups or anything while you've been there, or do you reckon it's always gone quite smoothly?
I'd say it's gone smoothly, but for me, just I think out of bad luck, on days that I've gone, it's been about 3 hours that I've been at the embassy. Yeah, wherever I've heard different things of other people that like you were in and out your last one like really quickly. But I think I've always been around 3-4 hours, like just a long queue outside, and then I'll get there exactly on the time. So say my appointment was like 9, I'd get there at 9, and then obviously I'd join the queue of people that were probably still waiting from 8. And then there'd be an even bigger queue for 9 o'clock, and then the 10 o'clocks would start showing up. So I think by the time I got in, I'd probably been waiting outside for like 2 hours, and then
it always rains as well.
Yeah,
I feel like it
always rains.
Always rains.
All the time.
My first year though, the tubes were on strike, and I didn't know. I obviously just waltzed up to London.
Yeah,
I arrived. Then
how did you get there?
Well, we woke up in the morning because we stayed over the night before. Woke up. Then I like went to go on the tube app, and they were all just like cancelled. But because we hadn't taken it into account, we didn't have enough time to walk there or to get the bus, so we had to get an Uber. But it ended up costing me like 70 quid or something to get there. But you know, when
were you there with many people, or were you just by yourself?
I had my actual appointment on my own,
right?
But like my friend came down with me, so it wasn't like we made a bit of a weekend out of it.
Yeah.
But because I think the embassy typically, if you're like running a little bit late, it's kind of I think unless you miss the morning.
And they're normally good if you give them a call as well, I think.
Yeah. Whereas I was in the back of the taxi, like, I'm not going to camp. This is it. Like, I'm going to find a new job for the summer. Like, I don't. my life is done.
Because I think what I realised is the time on it, it is quite lenient.
Yeah.
Not with getting there earlier, because they make you wait until your time if you get there early, but like getting there later. I've definitely, like I said, joined the queue at 9, but not got to the front until like 10:30.
Yeah.
And they've been fine. They've not even like said anything about it.
I tried it this year I think my appointment, I think it was like 9:30, but I got there at like say 9:15, and they were like,
yeah, back of the queue.
Yeah, I tried it. Yeah. So, but I don't know how I got so lucky this year. There was just like nobody there. So there was no queue for when I went in. I was in and out. I remember I was texting you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at the fingerprints already. But they've added a third stage this year.
Oh,
so my first 2 years, you went in, handed your documents in, queued. Then you had the first window where you hand your documents in. They did your fingerprints at the first window, I think.
Yeah.
And then sent you to the second window where you had like your interview. But then this year, I went up to the first window, handed my documents over. They're like, "Yep, that's fine." And then you have to go in a separate queue for fingerprints, and then you go to the third one where you have your interview.
Really?
So they added like there's a fingerprint queue now.
Does that make it quicker?
I don't know, but I thought I'd already had my fingerprints done, so I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just do what you're told when you're there.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you had to do them every time that you went. Because I've been to the embassy now like 3 times, and I think I've had my fingerprints done like twice actually.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've had them done all 3 times.
So I can't remember. I feel like my second year embassy appointment, it's just like I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I must have gone because I went to camp, but like I don't remember anything about it. So, but yeah, this year was definitely my fastest. I think that was like probably world's embassy record of like speeding you through. But do you like, what kind of questions did you get asked? Because I feel like some people get asked questions and some people don't. Like, have you been asked many?
I got asked quite a few.
Did you?
They weren't kind of like anything intense. It was more just what job was I going to do, where camp was. I feel like they asked me like the address of camp, and I was like,
did they?
I don't know. And then they were fine with me not knowing. I was like, I don't know, I've not looked at it. I told them the name of the camp and everything, and they were like obviously fine with it. But I panicked, so they said, I was like, oh no. But they were absolutely fine. And then I've had my name changed when I was younger, so they asked me a lot about that and kind of like why I changed it, if I committed any crimes under my old name and everything. And I was like, no.
I was 9.
So they asked me a little bit more about that, but that's kind of all I think that I've ever been asked. It's really like general questions.
Yeah, mine. I think I got asked the most this year. They asked me about what I did through the year. I think every year they've asked me like what camp I'm going to, what my job role is. But I always feel like, have you seen The In-Betweeners? You know, like when he's like, oh, Bob, Bob. That's what I was. Do you not know?
I've watched it, but I don't know what
Isn't the In-Betweeners movie? And he's like delirious and he says like, oh, Bob, Bob. And he's like, what did you do? Well, that's what I feel like, you know, because it's such an obvious question.
Yeah.
They're like, what camp are you going to? And I'm like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Send me away. But yeah, this year they asked me a few more, but it was still like completely fine. And obviously my passport came back super quick this year. My appointment was on the Friday, it was ready on the Tuesday. It's like,
I've heard a lot of people's being back really quick. Well, mine's on its way back now from sending it off. So
what you didn't? When did you send yours off?
well, I did mine postal because obviously as a returner you can, but I know you like going to the
like going
embassy.
It's like, no,
For this show I was like, I'll do it postal, let's see. But I sent it off not Saturday, just gone the Saturday before then, and it's on its way back now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, they must be
So I
doing
think it's like quick, especially with the bank holiday weekend as well.
overtime in the back room of the embassy.
Yeah.
Go gang.
I feel like it's quick enough.
Thanks
I
a
thought
lot,
it was going to take a
guys.
few weeks,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, I think because I tried to do it postally last year and then changed my mind. I was like, I emailed them and they managed to change it for me. So that was fine. But I remember I wanted to go to the embassy with somebody I was going to camp with. I feel like that would have been better. But I think at that point before camp, I don't think I'd spoken to that many people that I was.
What, your first year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first year. Like, because I managed to like reach out to some people before, and I feel like at that point I hadn't spoken to that many people.
Yeah,
Like
I think by the time your embassy appointment,
Yeah.
probably not spoken to a lot of
Had you
people.
spoken to people from your camp beforehand your first year?
Not before my embassy appointment.
Hadn't you?
No.
Like, but like before you went to camp, full stop, did you?
Yeah. I was in a group chat with the lifeguards because I went to be a lifeguard there, and 2 of the lifeguards were returners, so they made a chat with all the new lifeguards in it. So like kind of get to know us all, and then I realised that I was on the same flight as one of the lifeguards.
That's good.
So we stayed together the night before the flight and then flew out together. So it was quite nice. Like we wouldn't have known that, I don't think, if we weren't in that group.
What was your group on? Like, what did they make it on?
Facebook Messenger.
Did they?
Yeah.
But I think it's so nice to like have that initial person to fly out with, because we got put in a WhatsApp. No, what did we get put in? There must have been a WhatsApp group. Yeah, it was a WhatsApp group, and then everybody was saying like, who's flying out on this day from this airport? Who's flying out? Like, is anybody? No, everybody just ended up meeting up.
Yeah.
And then there was a girl who was flying out from Heathrow the same day that I needed to fly out, so I managed to convince my dad to drive me there. And then I met
My
up.
stepdad drove you there as well.
I met up with him in the airport, but I think it made it so much easier, and this sounds silly, but because she was there, like she was stood waiting for me, and then my dad was saying goodbye, I didn't want to like cry. Like I was like, yeah, bye.
Well, it's not cool.
Bye, Dad. Just hay fever. But yeah, so I feel like that made the actual saying goodbye easier.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it was kind of nice to be with someone like in the airport, because I think if I was to just be sat there on my own, I think I would have, you know, just like overthought.
Yeah, I think I would have been fine if I was there by myself, but I know what you mean. It would have, like, I would have been a little bit more,
It
like,
just eases it.
anxious.
Yeah, you've got somebody to like say, you know, like just chat about it too, and like like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. Like,
yeah, because I think when I was there as well, I noticed that loads of people, you could tell they were going to camp. Like, so many people on that flight were going to camp, so we just started talking to them in the queue and then went for some breakfast together and got chatting to them. They were going to different camps and none of us were going like anywhere near each other.
It's like the same thing though. Like you've got that common ground. Like you're doing the same thing.
And they were all going for the first time as well, so it was kind of like they were nervous, we were nervous, so we just all spoke about how nervous we were, but then excited as well. So we spoke about like obviously what we were most excited for and all that, which was quite nice. But yeah, just nice to kind of meet up with
people. But I think like camp counselors have just got a look.
Yeah.
Like I remember my
definitely.
first year going through border control, I walked up and I was really nervous, and the guy was like, camp counselor, and I was like, yeah, here I am.
But I think if you're like in an airport by yourself going to the US when
youngish, Crocs on, that's
they're gonna know.
Yeah, they definitely will.
Yeah.
Did you fly, because your camp's Massachusetts?
Yeah.
So did you fly direct to there your first year?
No, I flew from Heathrow to Newark, I'm pretty sure, and then we had to get the bus into New York City and then get the bus to Massachusetts.
Oh, that's quite a trek.
And then we got picked up from the bus stop and driven to camp.
How long's the drive from the bus stop to camp? Is it far?
About an hour.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess if you're going to be on the bus with people from camp, aren't you? So it's like...
Oh, yeah.
like,
So we basically, loads of people were in Port Authority that were going to camp. So all the lifeguards that we knew anyway, they were on different flights in.
The lifeguard
But
group
then,
chat.
yeah.
In real
Well, 'cause
life.
we went out early to do our lifeguard training.
Oh, okay. So it's all lifeguards.
Yeah. So we were the only ones there at camp with just lifeguards and leadership staff. So we all met up in Port Authority, and I just remember two of the girls now who are like two of my best friends. They didn't speak. They were so quiet and they were really shy. And then me and the other girl who we stayed the night together before the flight, got the flight together. We were really chatty, and they were just kind of sat there like really silent.
Yeah.
So we were trying to like get them out on the bus, but it took until like getting in the car with the people that we knew from the chat again. They were in the car to get everyone talking, and then after that we don't shut up. So.
It's funny you say that because we fly into New York or JFK, get the train to like the nearest train station from camp, and we ended up meeting up with some girls who were also going to camp, but just on the platform. Like me and Emily flew out together. We were like, "Oh, you're going to camp," and then we were all going to the same camp.
Yeah.
But then there was another girl who's now like one of my closest friends from camp, and she was sat on the seats behind us. And then afterwards, she said she didn't want to speak to us because we were too loud.
Did she know that you were going to the same camp?
I think she like assumed because we were all like on the same train. Again, had the
so
caveats
funny.
a little. But now it's funny because she's like one of my like closest friends.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't speak to us. Didn't want to be friends with us. But yeah, I think it is like getting in touch with people before camp if you can.
Yeah, even if they're not going to the same camp, I just feel like speaking to anyone that's
It's
going
just
to
that,
any camp.
like I would say that to anybody going for their first time. Like if you like join the Facebook group or anything.
Yeah.
If there's somebody, even if they're from like near you or
Yeah.
they're like anything, like
Just get chatting to
because it's
them.
so nice to be like, what are you packing? Like it's
Yeah.
just because it's obviously something that not everybody does. You can't necessarily speak to your friends from home about it. Like it's like I feel like even before I found people who were going to my camp, I had my cousin who did it. So every day I was like,
Yeah. What did you do for this? What did you do for this?
me again. So although you flew with people you knew from the lifeguard group chat your first year, have you flown on your own at all?
Yeah, my second year I flew by myself, and then this summer just gone, I flew by myself. I think slightly different. The one the first time it was like fully direct, but
You had to change.
this year, yeah, I had a stopover, so I basically had to go to Manchester Airport really early in the morning. Got dropped off, and it was quite emotional. I don't know why. I feel like it was like probably the most emotional I'd been.
Saying goodbye.
Yeah. And so I remember just like checking in and like dropping my bag off, and I was literally had tears on my face. And I
you were in
don't
a
know why,
film.
but I think it's because I'd had like a few years off, and then I was going back to camp, so I
Yeah.
was very much like, is this real? Like, what am I doing? Why am I going again? But obviously excited about it. And I remember, like, handing over my passport and everything at the check-in desk just with tears. And the woman was like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
I'm going here from free will, by the way.
Yeah. But after I'd got through all of that, like my bag was gone, all of that, then I was like, right, police hold together.
Yeah, duty free.
Well, yeah, going through security. They make me cry sometimes when they're me in there. But no, I feel like if you flew from Manchester Airport, obviously,
Yeah, flown on Manchester.
I feel like they're always a little bit more friendly in there through security.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the
The
friendly
nice.
ones
I
that
think
I've
Liverpool's the
experienced.
nicest.
Yeah,
Liverpool's the nicest.
But it's a
yeah.
small airport, isn't it?
That's
so
true,
it's
yeah.
it's less intense.
Yeah.
I feel like when there's loads of people, when you go through security, you kind of just
Yeah.
like easier to get through. And
I think I not panic, but I think I always overthink going through security when I'm going to camp because I've always got so much in my bag. Not that I'm obviously gonna have anything bad, but like
but you overthink it.
random things like
was
even
that
with
allowed
like
through?
electrics.
Chewing
Yeah,
gum, I don't know if you're allowed that.
because I feel like when I'm going on holiday, I just have like a book and a charger and vibes. But
100%.
like I feel like with camp, you've got like I don't know, like an extension cord and things like that. And I'm always like, is this allowed?
Yeah. I know, I'm always like that. I'm terrible going through security, especially when I am by myself as well.
Yeah.
So I remember last year I was like, what do I do? What do I do with my hands? Like, where do I look? How do I not look suspicious? Because you have to put your phone like in the scanner. So I feel like when I've not got my phone, I'm like, what do I do? But I feel like I got through because it was so early in the morning. Like the check-in desk hadn't even opened when I got there.
Really?
Because I forgot that because I was having a stopover in Dublin, it was technically an internal, or like kind of like a...
Oh, of course.
Is it a domestic flight or that it's called?
I don't know.
So
It
you
wasn't
could
like
only
a...
check in like an hour and a half, 2 hours before, but I got there like 3 hours before my flight. So I just kind of stood there like crying, waiting. And then as soon as it opened, I went through. But there was honestly like nobody else in security.
Well,
It
that's
was
good then. If you
so
can whiz through
quick.
it, yeah.
But then obviously by yourself, you're like, what do I do now? And I'm outside of security. So I think I was like, I need a new hat. I'll go to JD, bought a new hat, went to Burger King at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Nice.
which is,
Nutritious
yeah,
breakfast.
it was a rough choice, I'm not gonna lie. And then I literally just sat at my gate at my Burger King and waited for my flight. Honestly, it was just, yeah, it was probably the most chill time I've ever had in an airport, to be honest.
it?
I feel like that's like a perk of
How did
flying
you
by yourself.
find the kind of... I've never flown. Like, I've never had a connection.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, even like...
I found it pretty easy. That was the first time I'd done it,
Was it?
on the way to America. So I'd done it on the way home. I'd had a stop in Dublin, but that was like a self-transfer, so I had to get, that means you have to get all your stuff, pick it up
Yeah.
from the carousel and then check back in with your bag.
Because if it's a self-transfer, you just linger over to the other gate, don't you? Is that right?
That's if the airline have done the transfer. So that's if
Okay.
you booked it all together.
Okay.
Whereas when I was coming back from the US one year, it was a lot cheaper for me to get a flight from New York to Dublin and then Dublin to Liverpool. But separately, completely separately. So I had to get my bag off and then check it back in, which was absolutely fine.
How long did you have?
Stop in the airport. I had like 5 hours, which was not ideal.
Walked?
But I know. But it was so much cheaper. I think this was 2019,
Was
I think. And it was when Norwegian Airlines was still a thing, and I managed to get a
in the
flight
day.
from New
The good
York to
days.
Dublin for £99.
99?
99 with my bag.
No way.
99, and that included a meal, I think, as well, or something like that. £99.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was from a strange airport in New York. I think it was called like New York Stewart Airport or something.
yeah, I think that's near my camp.
Yeah,
I think.
it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah,
get a bus from like New York City to the airport, but it's like 40-minute drive.
I wonder who was on that flight. Like
There was like no one.
who else
Yeah,
was it? Like,
I can't even explain how small. Like look up the airport. It's so tiny.
I'm really
It's
sure
so
that's near my
strange.
camp. Yeah, it's like upstate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's...
it was quite far up, I think. But no, that way back was obviously a little bit long. But when you book it all together, so with Aer Lingus, that's who I went with last year, and I'm going with this year. You basically fly from Manchester to Dublin, and they just take your bag and put it onto the next plane.
Oh,
So you don't need to do anything with it. You literally just get off your first flight, and when you go into the US, you go through US customs in Dublin.
Yeah, of course.
So you basically get off your flight, and you'll see the signs that'll basically say like US immigration this way. So you'll go through that bit, and you go through, or they scan your bags again, and you basically go through security again. And then they check your visa there, and they basically like stamp your passport in Dublin.
Is it like still... This is silly. Is it still like American people?
Yeah.
Or are they Irish? Okay.
American people, yeah. Which I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if they live there, or do they like... They can't commute to that was
I think they might live there.
They can't commute to Dublin.
But it's good though, because when you get through, then you can just like chill. There's like a restaurant and stuff like that in there.
Okay.
And then when you get off in the US, you don't show anyone anything.
So you just get off as you're like... As if you're a US citizen.
Yeah, so they know that you've already been through. So everyone on that flight would have been through immigration already.
That's handy, I
So
think.
you just go to a certain gate where you bypass like your check. So you don't need to show anyone your passport or anything. You literally just like walk out, get your bag, and walk out the airport.
As if you would if you were going to like anywhere, like Spain.
Yeah, so say you fly from, in the UK, you fly from like Edinburgh to London.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the same there, because you don't
That's
need
so
any
cool.
checks. So
See, I think that's really cool, because one thing, you know, when you get off the plane and you're all groggy, and then you have to be like
yeah,
on top form for the
Yeah.
border control when you get there. That's so cool.
there's pros and cons to it, I guess. Like you do wait in Dublin for quite a while, because you get through customs really quick in Dublin.
Do you?
So you're kind of waiting around quite a lot for your flight. But obviously, like you said, when you get off the plane in the US, if you need to go through customs, sometimes the line can be a little bit long, and it's just when you'd rather wait, I guess. But
Yeah, and I guess as well, if I know some camps collect from airports, and say if you had like a collection time,
Yeah.
then no, say because that always adds on, doesn't it? You
Yeah,
have to take that into
definitely.
consideration. So if you had a collection time, it might be handy to fly from Dublin, because it's not really far from anywhere in like
Yeah.
England, is it?
yeah, I feel like you can get a flight
Just
to Dublin
pop
and
over,
then
nip over. Yeah, perfect. So for this episode, I have prepared some
Good.
questions. I did have some help in preparing them from
Okay.
Ryan. So we've got 8 questions, and
Oh, no.
they're general trivia about the US. Okay, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Question 1. What state is Dartmouth Union?
New Hampshire.
Bingo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one, I think this is a hard one, but I'm not gonna. Okay. In which state are the Catskill Mountains?
The what?
Did I say it wrong?
The Catskill.
Catskill. Catskill.
Oh. I have no idea. Wyoming.
No, New York. See,
New
I was
York?
giving it away. I think you say it Catskill.
No, it probably is. I've never heard of them in my life, so
Yeah,
that'll be why I don't know.
Sorry, yeah. New York. That reminds me of, what are those mountains called?
The Appalachian.
I thought they were called the Apple Chain. When we went on a road trip after camp, I was like, are we in the Apple Chain Mountains? Which state is nicknamed the Sunshine State?
I feel like I'm going to get it wrong and it's going to be an easy one. California? No.
Florida.
Oh, of course it's Florida. It literally says it on this.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
No,
I've been
do
to
you know why
Florida
I
as well.
included
I know
that? Because in orientation and camp, we do a, like, trivia, like
Yeah.
a Kahoot, and I got that exact one wrong. Which state would we find Mount Rushmore?
Montana.
North Dakota.
Oh, so close.
This one is courtesy of Ryan.
Oh, it's going to be a hard one, though.
What is the official language of the US?
What?
What is the official language of the US?
I don't want to look stupid. Official language of the US?
Yeah.
English? American English?
Ryan typed this himself. Trick question that isn't one. Winky face.
Oh.
That was it.
I got it right.
I would have said that. I would have said that. You'll know this one.
Okay.
Who won the Super Bowl most recently?
The Chiefs.
Taylor Swift boyfriend. Which state is Beyonce from?
Louisiana.
Texas.
Is her mum from Louisiana? I feel like she says that in a song.
I don't know.
That's where I've got it from. Yeah.
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah,
Team
yeah.
Tex.
I think her mum's from Louisiana.
This one I found really rogue and interesting. I wasn't going to include it, but I was very interested by
Okay.
it. Which is the busiest airport in the US?
Oh. In the whole of the US?
Yeah. It's rogue.
Um,
That's a clue. Like I, the one that I thought of first and that I would assume most people would think of first, it's not.
Baltimore.
No.
You said it's rogue. Isn't that where DC is, though? That's why I said Baltimore.
I thought DC was its own place.
Yeah, but I think you'd fly to Baltimore if you were going to, like, Washington, DC.
Well, you would fly to this place if you wanted to eat peaches.
Somewhere in Georgia?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta. Somewhere in Georgia.
Riddle at the end. You can also eat
I didn't know
peaches
that.
anywhere else in the world as well, which is quite a...
Why is Atlanta the busiest one?
I don't know.
I know it's a popular place, but I didn't think it'd be the busiest.
It's said because of all the connections.
Yeah, to be fair, that does make sense.
I thought that was really
Yeah.
quite interesting.
Oh,
if I'm
well,
being
I got one right,
honest.
so...
Yeah. Is that what you got right?
Yeah. I think I just got the first one right.
And
And the trick question that Ryan did.
yeah, you did get one right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ffion.
I can name every US state on the map, but can't answer trivia questions, so...
Name all the states.
Well, no, I can't name them all. Not now.
I can name all the states. No, I
I
can't.
could do the Sporkle quiz where you say what states are where.
I can't sparkle.
Yeah.
Chris is so good at sparkling, but
Yeah.
I cannot. That's my New Year's resolution one year to be able to. Can you do the one where you name every state, or the one where it pops up with the state and you click on where it is?
I could do either. Even the one with no outline.
Wow. Okay, so back to
On a tangent there.
back to preparing for camp.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think my favourite part of preparing is packing. I have you down as a not liking packing.
I put it off, as you know, as long
Yeah,
as I
put it
possibly
off.
can, because
Off till the last minute.
I think I stress that I've not got enough, but then I'm like, but I've filled a suitcase.
Yeah,
So I
it's-
must have enough.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, what if I'll need this? What if I'll need this? Which I'll never use while I'm there.
I think I'm quite good at that, not to brag. I think I'm, but then I'm also not.
This year I took my like full hairdryer with like the brush attachment.
You never know if you
Just
need
in
a
case I
curly
needed
blow.
a curly blow. But like, why am I gonna need that?
Yeah, that's
It doesn't
true.
even work there anyway. Like the extension,
It just
like,
goes
what's
like,
it called when you put the plug in, the
plug.
adapter, sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
do
it
it
literally
properly,
just
does
blows
it?
out.
Just like,
Yeah,
oh, it doesn't not even turn on.
kind of, but like it doesn't work, I wouldn't say. So now I know.
You couldn't have a curly blow.
Yeah,
No,
it just
no
didn't work.
curly
But I took
blows,
it with
no.
me, and it took up so much space in my bag. So then I had to go and buy one anyway. Oh no, I don't think I bought one. I think someone else did. And I just used theirs. But yeah, so little top tip: don't take a hairdryer because they don't work.
I think that's one of my friends bought us straighteners as well, and I think that's a good, like, bought them in the Walmart. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
you can get them really cheap.
Yeah, I take mine with me, but I don't think they take up that much room.
No, straighteners don't, but I feel like with like a hairdryer, it's the fact that it doesn't work with the voltage.
Yeah.
So it's to buy one there, it's a lot more powerful than if you were to take the one.
You don't need one.
Yeah.
Are you suitcase or backpack?
Suitcase. Don't know what to think about that. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so much easier.
See, so my first year I was team suitcase when I was going to camp. Then within the first hour of traveling after camp when that started, 2 wheels fell off my suitcase. So I was essentially dragging my suitcase around on the plastic, so it was like wearing away.
Oh no.
So I was like, I'm bringing a backpack next year. Then I asked for a backpack for Christmas, went to pack, and it just wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
And then I reverted back to team suitcase.
I think if the wheels don't break off, then
That's
it's easier.
that's a good one. But I'm actually on a 2 for 2 breaking suitcases at camp. I did it my first year. My second year I got there and it was just open at the side. And then I was like, Dad, can you Amazon me a suitcase, please?
I've had a suitcase that is falling apart and I've took it since my first year. I'm gonna buy a new one, I think, for this summer because it's like popping at the sides and I'm worried that it's gonna explode on the plane and then I'll have nothing.
Fair point,
So I'm kind of trying to get a more structurally sound one.
It's like a inside joke in my family about me breaking suitcases. Because I did it.
You're gonna have to get a new one for this year.
Dad ordered me one off Amazon
Oh.
to camp last year. But I remember it was cutting it fine. I don't know why I was so dozy with it because it literally broke as I got to camp and then like must have been like a week till the end of camp. I was like, ooh,
probably should get one.
suitcase. But like all the
What happened to the second one? The
zip split all down the side. I know.
Yeah, that's not good.
So yeah, so I've got my shiny new one for this year, which I don't think Dad's gonna buy me another one after this. So best keep it safe. Do you take packing cubes?
I was going to ask you this question just then. Yeah. So I feel like my process for packing would be when I finally get to it 2 days before I go.
Yeah, talk me through it.
I get everything out that I think I'm going to need and put it into like slightly kind of organised piles. Like it'll be maybe swimsuits, shorts, t-shirts, and then maybe like slightly nice stuff for days off and after camp. And like how many shoes I think I'll need, I'll kind of put them out as well, which will always be way too many, and then I'll end up being like,
Remembered your stilettos.
Yeah, so my first year I was obviously turning 21, so I was going to Vegas and I took stilettos to camp. And I don't think I've ever heard the end of it because on one of our nights off we went bowling, and somebody said, I will pay you $10 if you wear. So I had a sparkly jumpsuit, like a long jumpsuit with like flared bottoms and stilettos. So they were like, I'll pay you to wear this to this bowling alley in this small town in Massachusetts.
when Hannah Montana gets off the plane, hello, New York.
It was honestly like that. And then I think everyone chipped in and ended up getting like $40 or something.
Take slows if you're going to get paid.
And so I had to go to this bowling alley in stilettos and a sparkly jumpsuit. And when I tell you, people were there on like family days out, that everyone turned around and looked at me. It wasn't in my head. Everyone did turn around and they were staring at me because I was just so dolled up. Well, my face and hair wasn't dolled up, but my outfit and my shoes were.
Main character syndrome.
I know. But no, so I will not be packing that again this year. But no, once I've organised everything.
Back to the packing.
Yeah. Once I've organised everything into the piles and like all the shoes and everything, then I'll get my packing cubes out and I'll start to kind of organise it into like shorts, t-shirts, nice clothes. And if, they're overflowing, then I'm like, right, back to the drawing board. What can I take out? What can I not take with me? And then I usually put them all in my case. And then after I've put all that in, it'll be I only take like a few toiletries with me, like stuff that I don't want to buy over there. So like if certain moisturizer that I use,
Yeah, like
it's a little bit expensive.
your things.
Yeah. And then maybe some like travel size stuff just in case, like when I'm there I need it.
I
But
always
I
take
don't really
travel
take
sized.
I don't take a lot with me. But after I've packed, I always weigh my suitcase, and that's like the most stressful part because it's
Is
always
it?
overweight. So then I have to go back in, take some stuff
Yeah.
out. Because the last thing I want is to get to the airport and it be overweight.
Overweight, yeah.
Like especially if I'm there by myself. So I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Gonna have to take some stuff out. Like I think it was my first year after camp. I was traveling to LA after I went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd packed after camp, and obviously I didn't have to get on a flight to go to New York. I just got on a bus, so I didn't know how heavy my bag was. And then I got to the airport going to LA, and I can't remember how much it was overweight, but it was by a lot.
Can you just pay? Like, what do you do in that situation?
Well, I was on a budget, like I had no money
Okay.
anyway. So I had a bag full of like what they called like breakfast bars
Oh yeah.
because I was really poor. So I took loads from camp and put them in my suitcase.
Traveling on a budget. Theft.
No, it wasn't theft. My director said I could take them. And I was going to like have them as backup if I, got hungry and I maybe couldn't afford a meal that day. But then I had to throw them all away in the airport, and it was humbling because I just got all this massive bag of breakfast bars and I had to throw them away because I couldn't fit them in my hand luggage. I had no room in there.
Goodbye.
Throw any
bars.
toiletries away that I had.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to make that mistake again. So now I always weigh my bag, or make sure that I've got someone else to lift it up and see what they think.
Yeah. Just lift it by like vibes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been over, even with packing. I think I'm quite good at packing with like amounts.
Do you do a similar thing to me, like
Yeah.
organise your stuff and
So
kind of...
I take packing cubes, so I'll have like one for t-shirts, one for shorts.
Yeah.
Because then I use that as my like storage at camp.
Yeah.
So when I put them in my cubbies, I know I've got my t-shirts. So we have cubbies above our beds. So like, the two little like boxes that are attached to the wall. So I put all my staff t-shirts in one out of a packing cube because I know I'm going to need them like every day. And then I have like my shorts up there as well. But then same as you, I have a packing cube with like nice stuff in. Like I try and keep it so I can just take them out at camp.
Yeah.
And what I use as well is, sometimes you get like parcels and like the clothes come in those little like big Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
I take them for like swimming costumes and stuff, and they're quite handy.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
So when you're at camp, do you get a laundry bag when you get there that you can put your stuff in? Or do you have to take your own?
We get one, but it's shared. So I always take, little mesh ones.
Yeah.
Put my stuff in there and then put the whole mesh bag in the laundry bag. So it's like it's all coming back in.
So we get
the
our
bag.
own mesh bag. Yeah. Individual. So I just hang that on the end of my bed and put all of my laundry in it. So it's quite easy to kind of just hand it in. But I do remember my first year we had to do all of our own laundry.
Did you?
Yeah. We had to put like quarters in the machine.
Oh,
at camp.
really?
There was only one washing machine.
Oh.
And yeah, we had to kind of all time it on our day off. We'd be like, okay, you're doing it now. You can do it next. You can go next. But then they realised, that
you can't.
it was taking a lot of time. So
we have like a team of people that do laundry. So we like I'll put my bag in the big yellow bag and we leave them on the porch. And so every bunk has its set laundry day. So like they'll come on like Tuesday, for example. Yeah. You put them out the night before, and then they take them in the morning, and then they're back before you go to bed. They're great.
Do they wash it on camp or do they take it off camp?
On camp.
Oh, so we have like
Shout out IS Laundry.
We have like a laundry person that comes and takes all the bags in a van, takes it off site somewhere, and then brings them back.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
But I don't think we have enough washing machines at camp to be able to do it because everyone's laundry is done on one day.
Okay, yeah.
But it's only the staff because our kids aren't there for as long, whereas yours will be your kids because they're longer,
there for,
aren't they?
longer, yeah. What is, so say I'm going to camp for my first year, what's one thing you'd say, like, take?
Oh.
Or maybe you can do more than one. You have free will.
Yeah. I'd say definitely, I feel like slippers. I know that sounds like really silly.
I get that.
But it's like comfy. Like when you get into your cabin, have your shower, get all clean, and then just put your slippers on. It feels just kind of like nice and soft on your feet. Because I feel like if you're standing up all day,
I get that. Yeah.
I mean, I always take a teddy with me as well. Which, yes, I am 26 years old, and yes, I will still be taking one with me this year. But I think it's just kind of nice to have, like something from home kind of with
Yeah,
you.
I get that.
Oh, and an eye mask.
An eye mask?
Yeah. Because I feel like I can't sleep without one now because the light comes in through the window.
Yeah, we don't have blinds in our bunks.
Well, there you go.
So yeah,
So, and I'm
I just
honestly, because I used to stress out when I had an eye mask on because I felt like claustrophobic and I was like, oh god, open my eyes, I don't know what's going on. But like the last summer that I just went, I took an eye mask and it's some of the best sleeps I've ever had in my life.
really.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll invest.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really worth it.
Yeah, maybe I'll because I'm always like in the morning, you know, covering, especially on days off when you can have a bit of a lie in.
Exactly.
Like I feel like I'm always asleep, like covering my
Yeah.
eyes. But one that I'd say going off slippers is shower shoes. I just get the shower shoes. That's what the campers call them. I just get the 90p flip flops in Primark
Oh yeah.
because I think sometimes it's a bit like you know, sharing like a shower floor with.
Oh yeah.
Other
I normally
people.
wear slides.
Yeah,
But just like cheap
yeah,
slides.
Just
in
you know,
the
ones you
shower.
can. Yeah, and then I can't really think of any. Crocs, a big one.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I was a no Croc person my first year when I went. And then I think while I was there, Crocs released like a limited edition rainbow pair for I think it was like Pride Week. So I got them. So they're like platform rainbow Crocs.
Nice.
Which are now really dirty because they were white with a rainbow on the platform. But now they are like brown.
Beige.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody who didn't come to camp with Crocs left with them.
They're just so convenient.
I think people ordered them at
Yeah.
camp because they could double up as your shower shoes in theory.
Oh yeah.
I
that's
guess
so
if
true.
you wanted to be
I don't know if I would have gone my platform Crocs in the shower. I probably
fair,
would have fallen over.
yeah, that's a bit extra as well. I can't think. What's one thing you would say like don't pack?
Well, I said before a hairdryer,
Hairdryer.
but I'd say stilettos. Too much makeup. I think because when, like, obviously after camp and on days off and things like that, like wearing makeup. But I feel like when you're out there, you've got a little bit of a tan anyway. Your
Yeah.
makeup won't be the right shade,
Fair.
so
Fair.
it's pointless to kind of take loads and loads like you normally would maybe if you were wearing makeup here. Because I think I took like way too much and I probably used about 4 products that I actually took with me, but I took a huge makeup bag. Yeah, that's probably. How about you? Do you have anything that you kind of took that you wish that you didn't?
Not overly. I think I took too much of the same thing. My first year I took so many oversized t-shirts and they're great to have, but when you have like
Yeah.
12, like
Yeah, you need like a few.
yeah. But I just remembered one thing as well I'd say to take, and I feel like it's kind of obvious, but hoodies. I don't think I took enough my first year
Yeah.
because I think you wear one every night. And this is minging, but we had a bit of a running joke this year because I had this one hoodie and it was filthy. Like, it was just every time I wore it, I'd like
Drop something
on it, and we called it the spaghetti hoodie in the end because like it just
Oh.
always had like
what colour was it?
light grey as well. So it just always had like pasta or something
my
down
God.
it. So I would say hoodies.
Yeah.
I think
Joggers.
joggers. I didn't realise like when I first got to camp how not cold, but I
It
thought
can get cold at
I
night,
thought I'd
yeah.
be like sunbathing all the time at camp. But my first year I was surprised at
Yeah.
getting there, and especially at night time. It was,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got there in May. I got there quite early one
Oh, did
year
you?
and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like still pretty chilly then. And I just completely forgot and didn't pack. I was wearing shorts and I was like
Yeah,
shivering.
because you think like again, hello New York, like Hannah Montana, but you think like, oh my god, it's gonna be glorious weather all the time, and it's not. A rain jacket, another good one.
Oh yeah.
One thing every year I think of when I'm at camp is wellies. I think I should bring wellies, or I should order wellies, or some kind of
Yeah,
boots.
it rains, but I don't think it rains enough to take wellies with you and
That-
take up space like
But
in your
then
bag.
I think when it's a rainy day at camp, I think I wish I had wellies. I wish you could like
Yeah.
somebody should do a rent a welly.
Rent
A welly thing. Yeah, that was one thing I wish that I'd had this year. But then again,
Yeah.
like I think it would be something I bought from Walmart.
Definitely.
But then this was a rainy summer, and for my camp anyway, it was an exceptionally rainy summer. It rained a lot.
Yeah, my camp it rained. I'd say a little bit more than other years.
Yeah.
But I feel like they always say that there's like one rain year.
Maybe
So
it was
this
my
summer will
rain year.
be a sunny year.
True. Not taking a rain
Last summer
jacket.
it was a rain year, so this summer it will be a sunny,
Okay, if
sunny
it
summer.
alternates, yeah. So going back to your first year at camp, do you think you were prepared for the summer?
I think I was as prepared as I could be. Like, I feel like going in something like that, you'll never be like fully prepared.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like I like half knew what I was getting myself into, and yeah, did all the stuff that I could have done to prepare myself beforehand. I remember we had like a prep day which was in person in Liverpool, and it was basically like loads of people from different camps that attended. I think it was at like a Holiday Inn or something in Liverpool City Centre, and you turn up and you had like a little name badge and like what camp you went to, and they kind of told you what to expect at camp, went over some things that would happen, like camp songs and all of that stuff. So I remember being really
Little
like
icebreakers.
I was like cringe. I remember being there like, oh, I'm not doing this all summer.
Never gonna sing a campfire song.
And we did like little games and kind of like got to know different people that were going to camp and what to expect when you got there and all of that stuff. Which was nice, but I feel like it was like a little bit intense being in person, which I kind of enjoyed. But
because they're online now, aren't they? So
yeah.
I think it's so handy. Well, they were online my first year as well.
Oh, okay.
So I don't suppose you would have done an online one, but it's
No.
basically, it's just like a series of like a set of videos, and it just kind of goes through essentially like everything you need to know for camp to like prep you for getting there. Because I think although you've got your training week at camp, like it's good to kind of go into it knowing what you can expect. So there was just videos on how certain things would work, and like it went into detail, which was really cool. And it's because it was like online, you could do it. I remember I did mine. I think I was on the train home from somewhere. Like I just
convenient.
Connected to the Wi-Fi and just watched them there. But I remember feeling like after them, I think because they're one of the last things you do before you go.
Yeah.
It's like this is my training. It's real. Like I'm going to camp. So no, I definitely think that the online prep days were really helped me because you can ask people things and you can, watch all the TikToks, but the prep days, they obviously go into like the logistics of things and how things are going to work and what this means, and it's more kind of like in depth about how things actually work, what the role is, than like a normal YouTube video or than like watching a TikTok that somebody's done. Like it's like this will happen, and like it's I just think they're more handy and kind of like set in stone, official. Like it's definitely, you can definitely tell the difference between like a prep day and a training video. A prep day and like a YouTube video.
Yeah,
like they're just more informative. But yeah, so before we go, we have got some of our lovely participants to send in some questions.
Okay.
So question number 1 is from Nathaniel B. So this is kind of 2 questions. So the full thing is, what can I expect from staff training week, and do I need to organise my own first aid certificate?
So I think staff training week, from what I remember, everyone kind of gets all together. You learn about, what to do in certain situations, maybe with the kids, if you've not worked with kids before, which I felt really prepared after that when they were like, in this situation, you would do this, and you got to like do little workshops and talk about maybe what you would do, and learn from each other and kind of what the other counsellors think that they would do in that situation. I feel like that really helped to hear like other perspectives as well. I remember there being a lot of like icebreaker games, learning people's names, which is nice to get to know everyone before the kids arrive as well, because then you've got to remember the kids' names, so it's nice to know the staff names.
Get one thing out of the way.
Yeah. I think training week we did quite a lot of maybe mental health training as well, like how to maybe deal with homesickness or mental health with the children, even with yourself too. So like, if you're struggling at camp, then who to go to, and you learn all of that kind of things, like who were the point of contacts at the camp and who you could speak to about things, really, which I feel like was quite nice. And was it the first aid certificate?
Yes. Do I need to organise my own first aid certificate?
So at my camp you didn't. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't need to organise your own first aid, but I would reach out to camp if that's something that I was worried about. I would double check.
Yeah, at my camp, if they need you to be first aid trained, like you'd
know.
They do it. Like the lifeguards get their certification when they get there.
Yeah, that was the thing. So I was a lifeguard my first year, so we got our first aid and we got our lifeguard training when we got there. But yeah, I think camp would have let if you needed it.
I
first aid before you get out there. So.
And going back to the staff training week as well, one thing that I would say is have a fun fact about yourself.
Yes,
prepped.
Definitely.
Like I think you get asked it so much. Yeah. I would say have what?
Maybe have a few.
Yeah. What was yours?
That my name used to be Hazel.
That's a cool
And I feel like everyone's like, I just learnt your name. So
good ball.
What's yours?
I've got 4 ankles.
Okay.
Anyway, I remember one of the girls from camp, though, hers was that she's tried everything on the Chick-fil-A menu. No, Taco Bell menu. Tried everything.
Everything.
Yeah. I think
That's a huge menu, though.
But then I guess once you've done the base of it, it's just keeping it up.
Yeah, true.
It's a
Every
fun,
time you go, just get a new thing.
yeah, fun hobby to have.
Yeah.
For the next episode, we will learn everything. So I think that is everything from us today. I hope those of you that watch and listen at home are feeling a bit more prepared for the, the kind of bits before camp. So thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed it, you can tune into our next episode, which is going to be the realities of working at a summer camp. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Bye! Thank you for watching this episode of the Camp Leaders podcast. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button so you can be first to hear about our future episodes.